Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Or is it welcome to a bloody disaster? Because I'll be totally honest, it's slim pickings right now, especially in Scotland. I went out locally and I thought, right, I need to get a couple of beers because I'm going away next week down to the Peterborough Beer Festival, and I thought, right, I'll get some videos kind of lined up and get them done and get them out of the way, that type of stuff, get ahead of myself. The problem is though, is going locally and trying to find beer, and this is a strange one, because when I say beer that I want to drink, isn't really actually true. I'm looking for beer that I don't want to drink to avoid it, because the thing is, there's beers that I just really do not want to basically review, and a lot of them are these craft IPAs and things that I'm just not interested in any way, shape or form. You can shove them at your backside. I'm sure other people love them and everything else. Well, you go for it and you cream your panties and everything else, and hope it brings you the orgasm you deserve, But for me, it's a case as though I'm just looking for beers that kind of normal people will drink. I'm trying to look for some good ones, like for a Sunday video, and I'm trying to look for ones that, well, you don't know, it could be a diamond in the rough or it could be bloody awful. I'll take the chance, but we'll use it for a Wednesday video. And it's been a struggle, I'll be totally honest. This is one of the problems, is just going out and trying to find a decent beer locally that you either haven't done or, well, just try to find one. It's quite difficult. And one of the problems is, it's quite difficult at this time of year when the wife and everybody's away, and I'm just kind of here myself, and I'm back and forward and here, there and everywhere. It's very difficult to try and order alcohol, because if things overrun or my schedule changes, then a lot of times I might not be where I'm supposed to be for when the delivery is supposed to happen. And it being alcohol, they don't leave it. They'll take it away with them, and it just becomes another headache and God knows what else. So it's quite difficult to order beer online at this point. It's a lot easier later on in the year when the wife and all that's back, because she's kind of kicking about, so I can always rely on her to be, wherever she's supposed to be. Her kind of schedule isn't as kind of volatile as mine. So it just becomes a real bloody problem. It really does. So I've already looked at Tesco's, I've already looked at Asda, I've already looked at Sainsbury's. I did try to go and find, I think Aldi's got a new porter out. Not a porter, stout, sorry. A new stout out. But it appears that they're not selling it in Scotland at the moment, so I couldn't find that either. So I was kicking about Aldi and I thought, right, I'm here now. This is the third place now. I'm not going to try and find a fourth place, because that's ridiculous. It's really, it'll be at least half an hour's bloody drive, maybe longer, and at that time probably would be longer because it was kind of rush hour, it was kind of later on in the evening, and I'm thinking, bugger that. So I'll try and find something in Aldi. So I found I found 1897 Brasserie quality brewers, apparently premium quality beer. La qualité allie à la tradition. There you go, marvellous, 4.6%, 440ml. Had to buy a bloody 4-pack to get this piss. Jesus Christ. Lager, directions for use. Best served when you're off your tits and something else beforehand. Then you won't realise what shit you're actually drinking. There you go, very good, lovely. There'll be people who'll be swearing blind, this is fucking marvellous and wonderful and that type of stuff, so I've just probably pissed them off and put their noses out of joint. It's only a little joke, No, there's not really many facts about this, apart from it's maybe it's supposed to be a French beer, maybe a kind of a rip-off of 1664, which again worries me, because I hate 1664. It's utter piss water. I absolutely hate it. And I mean really hate it. You know what I mean? I'd rather drink my own piss, and I would drink my own piss than drink that stuff. I really would. And it being a Wednesday video, if you hadn't guessed, we're on the Jura 14-year-old American rye cask. Haha, lovely. I don't know if I've done this before or not, but it's 40%. It's apparently American white oak, ex-bourbon, and hand-selected American rye barrels. There you go, marvellous. There you go. This bottle contains 28 measures. Oh, well, there you go. And that's it. There's no spiel, no, well, look at us, you know, we've been doing it for years enough. We're magicians, you know, it's like, oh, we're absolute wizards with our alchemy, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. Right, shall we crack this open and get it poured? I'm going to put it in this glass because it's only 440ml. So, I'm not going to dirty a big glass. Oh, Jesus, it's a lively bugger. Look at the state of that. Jesus. Pours like 1664. It's like fizzy acid, you know what I mean? If you could carbonate vinegar, then you'd have 1664. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm going to pour the Jura as well. Oh, cheeky. I played on that one. I like it. Pop goes away easily. But yes, there's some nice wee smells coming off of that. It's lovely. Oh, did I pour too much? That's no such thing, you know. I might need an extra drop because of this stuff. Remember, it's a 4-pack. And, well, there you go. Oh, look at that, lovely. Oh, I have kind of maybe given a wee bit too much there, but that's just life. Right, I'm going to top this up. Another thing, I've had a splitting headache all day. And when I was out, I thought, I'll take the wife's car for a run because there's no move since she's left. And oh my God, she's 2.5 months she's been away. I think, is it 2.5 months? I don't even know. I can't even bloody remember myself. Sure, it was June they went away with. So yeah, maybe 2 months then. Maybe around about 2 months. Maybe not 2.5. You know. But anyway, took it out for a wee drive just to get in, you know, give it a wee run and things like that, and you know, just kind of top up the battery, all that kind of stuff. Air conditioning doesn't work, does it? It's 29 degrees, and eventually I took it for a run. I thought I'll take a run halfway to Edinburgh and that type of stuff, and then I'll turn about, you know, round about kind of, what's the name of the bloody place? Grangemouth. I'll do a bit, basically we kind of go past Grangemouth, turn about and come back. Of course, I don't know how the bloody traffic and that type of stuff, and I'm sitting in this bloody car with no air conditioning with a stinking headache thinking, I'm melting here, I'm absolutely bloody melting, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the fucking hell was I doing? I should have basically taken my own car for God's sake, because I've actually just topped up the air conditioner. That's absolutely lovely, you know, it's absolutely lovely. It's a cornucopia of coolness and of refreshment. Yeah, no, I'm stuck in this old bloody car with no air conditioning, sweat my balls off with a splitting headache. And I'm struggling to poo right now. I don't know what's wrong, you know. I'm struggling to pass, you know. I don't know, it's just, maybe I'm not drinking enough fluids. And this isn't helping. Because trust me, this is the type of fluid I don't want to be drinking. So, let's see what it smells like. Grain. That's all it smells of, grain. Slightly grassy. Grain, that's it. No malt, no real hops, no nothing, just grain. Can you smell the grain? It's grainy. Grain. So, grain. Right, let's see what it tastes like. If it's got that horrible chemical aftertaste that 1664's got, I've got to be honest, I fucking hate that. I absolutely hate that god awful aftertaste. What was the other one? Grolsch had the same kind of aftertaste as well. Utter fucking piss water, the two of them. Seriously. it doesn't have that horrible aftertaste. So straight away it's on a winner, you know what I mean? You know. First impressions, it's alright. It's not brimming with flavour or any that type of stuff. It's fairly kind of neutral on the flavour front, to be totally honest. Mouthfeel is actually better than what you think it's going to be when you're pouring it, because it's quite aggressive and quite fizzy when you're pouring it, but not as bad when you actually kind of get it in the mouth and things like that. So it's not as carbonated as I first feared. And overall, first impressions, not as bad as what I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying it's brilliant, I'm not saying it's wonderful, but what I am saying, probably more relief, out of relief more than anything else, is it's not as bad as what I first feared. And trust me, I thought it was going to be quite bad. So yeah, kind of happy that just now. I've taken 2 Panadol, you know what I mean? It probably wouldn't help me go and that type of stuff, but hopefully we'll get rid of the headache. And I think it's just my body reacting to the warm weather. I don't like warm weather, and my body doesn't like it. It affects my sleep and everything else. And even though I've been drinking a lot of water, maybe I've not been drinking enough, and it's just like, oh, your body's struggling. And of course, I haven't really been drinking alcohol. I'll be totally honest, the only alcohol I've been drinking is when I'm doing my reviews. So I've got a couple of reviews to do today, and that'll be me until kind of tail end of next week when I go to the beer festival. So I won't have any alcohol after today. That's just how it works, you know, because the whole idea is sometimes it's the cases of you can end up running away with yourself, you know. You can basically, you can't drink for your own kind of social pleasure as well as doing all these kind of beer reviews, because eventually, you know, your level of consumption is going to be too high, and it's going to have an effect on you and everything else. So you have to kind of just wind everything back, you know. It's always good to have a little bit of fun and things like that, but with work and everything else and just weather and everything else, I just don't really want to drink. So let's see what this is like. Oh, get some strange aromas there. Also getting quite a bit of old acetone kind of feel to it as well. Getting slight orange notes. Yeah, maybe a little bit of spice, maybe a bit of nuttiness as well. Yeah, I would say it's on more the kind of dried nuts and fruity side, I would say. But it also smells quite light, it doesn't smell overly rich or in your face. It feels a wee bit lighter. Not the most body. Yeah, there's a bit of freshness to it as well. I mean, even though it's supposed to be a 14-year-old, there's a lightness to it, a freshness to it. So let's see what it tastes like. A wee bit rough in the middle of the tongue, a little bit of harshness there, and a decent kind of burn at the back end, decent alcohol kind of burn at the back end. So it's on the kind of rougher side. I'm not saying it's overly rough, because it isn't, but I would also say with that burn and that type of stuff, even though you're getting at the back end, it smooths itself out quite quickly. So it's not a lingering kind of roughness or harshness to it. It kind of beds itself back down quite quickly and smooths itself out. Yeah, a little bit of orange citrus, slightly. Marmalade tones. And yeah, a little bit of nuttiness at the back end. A little hint of spice in the middle, but again, just because that little bit of harshness and that little bit of alcohol burn that's there, it is kind of killing off quite a lot of the flavour. So what I'll do is I will add some Vada or water. Oh, cheeky. Oh, what am I making a mess over this one? Just let the oils infuse with the water. We'll go back to this little chugger. Yeah, it's got a bit that kind of mass-produced kind of lager about it. One of these ones where, well, let's be totally honest, it's 4.6, but it doesn't feel as if it was brewed to be this beer. It just has that feel about it where it's brewed to be a standard beer and then it's been adjusted, you know, in different ways for the market. And yeah, feels a bit kind of mass produced and doesn't feel as if it's going to be naturally brewed to be this beer. It looks like it's been brewed to be a macro lager and then adjusted to suit whatever the customer is kind of looking for. A lot of these kind of breweries do, a lot of the big breweries in the continent and also in the UK do. They brew a big huge macro lager, and then what they can do is they can add a little additional hops or other accent flavours. They can dilute it down to the kind of alcohol kind of ABV that you want and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a very kind of generic mass produced kind of excuse me, feel to it. And yeah, and the flavours, there's not much there. A little bit of sweetness there, not really much malt, light on the body, like a lot of lagers anyway, and the real kind of predominant flavour is grey. You're just getting that kind of, in fact, I'll be totally honest, you're getting this kind of grain flavour to the point is that it's quite prominent enough. I mean, none of the flavours are hugely intense or anything like that, but out of the kind of subtle flavours it does have, the biggest one seems to be the grain, to the point is that it doesn't feel 100% natural, as if like basically it's been boosted to try and kind of give it a more of a kind of neutral kind of grain flavour, a bit of sweetness, and just make it an easy drinking kind of generic lager for people, and that's what it feels like. Yeah, you know, a little bit of kind of crispness at the back end, and a very kind of clean, uneventful kind of finish, very kind of neutral finish, to be totally honest. Overall, I can just put it down as a kind of standard, generic, kind of flavourless lager. It's unoffensive because it doesn't really have anything about it to really cause offence, you know. But on the same hand, there's us doesn't really have anything about it to make it kind of stand out, to make it, you know, be anything good, be anything interesting, be anything kind of worthwhile. It's just like, meh, you know. Yeah, it's just lacking. It's lacking in flavour and just everything. Yeah, it's one of these kind of, like I keep saying, mass produced for the supermarket, ticks the boxes. I can't remember what it costs. I'm sure it's cheap enough anyway. And yeah, that's what you've got. It's like, ooh, woohoo, you know, easy drinking, unoffensive, easy enough just to get wired in and enjoy. More likely, probably just to wet your whistle. I would challenge anybody to say that they really enjoy it. It just, well, hey, it meets a price point. It's easy enough to drink. There's no real kind of flavours there to cause any issues or problems, and yeah, it's just a very one size kind of fits all. Right, what's this like? Sweetness has gone up. Orange has maybe dropped down a little bit, but with that sweetness going up, just give it more of a marmalade tone. There is a little bit of spice there, a little bit of nuttiness at the back end. The drinkability has improved with the water. A little splash of water has toned down a little bit the harshness, smoothed that out, and obviously toned down a little bit of the alcohol burn at the back end. But also what I would say is it's also kind of dampened the whiskey down as a whole, to the point is that it's pretty uninteresting. I'll give it that. It's kind of lacking in it's lacking in the flavour stakes. I would say I wouldn't say any of these flavours are particularly groundbreaking, and I wouldn't say they're particularly the best versions of these flavours either. Overall, it's a very, I'm trying to get the best way to describe it. At bottle strength, at 40%, at bottle strength, it has a little bit more about it. But the problem is, it's more to do with the harshness and the alcohol burn, because again, the flavours aren't intensive enough to basically kind of break through these barriers. So you're really just getting the kind of the harshness of the whiskey in the mid-turn and the alcohol burn at the back end, with the kind of accent flavours kind of in between all that. So it's lacking at bottle strength, and then when you get a little splash of water, it smooths off these kind of little kind of rough edges. But the problem is the flavour intensity was already quite low, so with adding the little splash of water there, you haven't enhanced any of the flavours apart from the sweetness. The other flavours have probably kind of died down a little bit more. So again, it just makes it less interesting, and to a certain degree a bit bland. Yeah, I'm sitting here with this just now, and it's not really doing it for me. It really isn't. It's kind of, oh dear, quite disappointing. You know, for a single malt 14-year-old, you expect it to have a bit more to it, you know. And this is sometimes the problem. When you've put it in kind of, I think it's new oak barrels, isn't it? American white oak ex-bourbon. But what the hell is going to be picking up from the ex-bourbon? Because again, it's a case of, and then you put it in rye barrels, and yeah, and the problem is you're not getting any of the bitterness from the rye. You're not really getting over sweetness from the bourbon either, and things. I mean, it seems to be that none of these casks have really kind of imparted any kind of major flavour tones to the whiskey. So yeah, would I give it a 10? I think I'm quite disappointed in it. I think it's quite kind of lacking. So I'm going to give it a 3. It's not one I would recommend, because I think Dura right now, it's not the cheapest. I mean, you're still kind of kicking around about the kind of 25 to £30 mark for these kind of bottles, and if it's like that, well, Jesus, you wouldn't be happy, you know, because there's plenty of other ones you could get for a better price that are far better. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3. 3. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. I would not buy this, and I wouldn't recommend it. It's just kind of lacking, and for a 14-year-old single malt, you look at it and you read it, the label, you think, oh, that could be actually quite good, it could have a wee bit to it, and it's not. It's just not what the label tells you. What's inside the bottle isn't delivering. It's not the same. So yeah, I would probably avoid that one. As for this, what would I give this out of 10? Just a kind of dire generic lager, unoffensive and everything else. If you want a cheap lager that's no worse than your mainstream piss waters or that type of stuff. In fact, in some ways probably better than your mainstream piss waters if you look at it from the likes of 1664, Grolsch, all these kind of other ones. Stella, they don't have that kind of stinking kind of chemical aftertaste. So on that basis, it's got that going for it, which then kind of maybe makes it a better option, you know, especially in my eyes, than some of the mainstream piss waters. But it's cheap, it's unoffensive, and with people working on budgets and people, you know, kind of trying to make their money go further, but still kind of have some kind of resemblance of normal, you know. You know, they might not be sitting down to the kind of more expensive mainstream piss waters when they're watching the football on the television, but at least they're still sitting down to a glass of something, and it's still 4.6%, so it's not kind of, you know, low alcohol nonsense, and it's unoffensive, it's easy enough to drink, it will get you through the game, you know what I mean. A 4-pack, 2 cans each half, so yeah. So you just got to take it for what it is, and you've also got to kind of look at it for what market it's kind of supposed to be kind of appealed to. And in today's kind of climate, it's probably appealing to quite a few people, you know. I'll be totally honest, I'd rather not drink. I'd rather have a cup of tea watching the football than have something like this, but that's me. Other people are different, you know. Everybody's got, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just not my kind of cup of tea. So on that basis, I'm going to give this, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I'll give this a 3.5 out of 10. It's okay, it's fine. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't recommend it to kind of ale drinkers. I wouldn't, and I probably wouldn't recommend it to your craft beer, IPA, hop it off its tits kind of drinkers as well. It's just for kind of normal kind of standard lager drinkers. People that will go and basically buy a, you know, I'm up in Scotland, there's people that will go and get a pint of Tennent's or a pint of Carling or whatever and that type of stuff when they're out in the pub. Well, this will probably work out cheaper than the equivalent ones in cans if you're buying it, you know, for home. And at the end of the day, it's cheap, it's unoffensive, it ticks the box. So yeah, I could see this appealing to quite a lot of lager drinkers, especially if you're into the kind of Foster's, Carling, all that kind of stuff. Tennent's, you know. So yeah, so it's a 3.5 out of 10. It's a 440ml can. It's 4.6%. It's 18.97. I don't know what that reflects or is associated with or whatever. And there's nothing on the can to tell us. So I think it's just a kind of random number probably. But anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.